Hi second graders, welcome to Arts. We need a piece of paper and something to write with. Today we will be doing a drawing that is from a story that you know, but it's a different version maybe of the story. So I bet you all know the story of the Little Red Riding Hood. And in second grade, one of the things that you do is you compare a different version of the same story to the other one that you know. And so today I learned about a story that is called Little Red Cowboy Hat. And so today we're going to draw that character. And I encourage you to look up that book, and you can watch it on YouTube. It will read it. They read it to you on YouTube, or you could find it in a library another time. So we're going to start by drawing our cowboy hat. So this little red cowboy hat, she has red hair and a red cowboy hat, and she's on her way to her grandma's house. And so that's what we're going to start with that part. So for our cowboy hat, we're going to the middle of our paper here, and near the top, we're going to do a curved line like this. And then we're going to come back to the front of that line and curve up, over, and back. Then inside, in the middle of this, the top of the curved shape we just made, we're going to go up and curve over like this. And then the same thing again, going the other direction. Okay. Now we're almost done with our hat. Then we're going to go back to the front part here, and we're going to curve up and over till it touches. So here's our cowboy hat, and we might even want a little part of that showing in the back too. Okay. Then this is where we'll put the girl inside the hat. So we're going to make her head here just a curved line like this. And then we'll do two eyes and her smile. So she's kind of looking forward. And then her hair is going to be coming back out of the back like this. And, she's got this bright red hair flowing in the wind because she's riding a horse. And we'll draw that in a minute. Okay, so then down under her smile here, we're going to do a line for her neck and a line back by her hair. And then we will draw her vest. Well, let's draw with her arm going back. So here we have a line coming down. And then over on this side, a line curving out like this. So these are her two arms, but we're going to make them thicker. So the back arm, let's go ahead and draw a curve at the top, and then the line comes down, and there's the bottom of her sleeve. Then on the other side, we'll draw the other side of her vest here. It's going to come straight down like this. And then we can draw the rest of her sleeve here. And let's go in and make her vest. So at the bottom of the neck, we're going to do a curved line over and down, and from the other side over and down. And then we'll kind of close off, and then one more line under the arm coming down and close off the bottom. So there's her vest. All right, and then we'll put the shirt here, and so then it looks like we finished the shirt part. Line here. Okay, we'll come back to her hands in a minute. So for her legs, so she's sitting on a horse. So we're going to draw the first leg, curving down like this, going forward and down. And then over here, we have the line coming over. There's the knee and down. So starting right about under her vest, angle down, down, and connect. There's one foot, and we'll do her shoe here. And then the other leg is going to be on the other side of the horse. So we need to draw where the horse's back is. So we have the horse back here, curving down, and then right here, imagine that she's sitting on the horse, so the line comes through right here. It's going to come up, and the horse's head is going to be up here. We're going to do an ear, and then we're going to curve down, or angle down, and then curve down, starting to make the horse's head. And then from, let's go back to her leg. So we're kind of doing this all over the place. Let's finish her leg. So it's going to come from the vest, up and down. So there's her other leg on the other side of the horse. And while we're doing that part, let's go ahead and draw in our little saddle here on both sides of where she's sitting. So we did a line, and a line across. Okay, we're coming back for the hands in a minute. Let's get our horse's head in here so we can see. So we've got the beginning of the nose and mouth area. We're going to come up and then curve down and up. And then we'll come down, curve forward and towards that foot, and then keep going. And we're going to meet with the back here, like this. There's our horse's body. All right, so then we need the legs coming off the front here. And our horse is, it's going off the page. We can't see the whole horse. We're just going to draw the legs coming down, connected to the body. Okay, and then the tail back here hangs down, and it's got kind of big. So curved lines like this. You can draw some lines in here. Okay, so as you can see, we're just doing our best here on this horse's body. So if it doesn't look perfect, neither does mine. It's okay. We're just getting our practice in and doing the best we can. That's why I'm using pen to show you that if you make a mistake, you don't need to worry. You can still finish your picture and we're still going to know what it is. All right, so I'm going to come back to our hand here. Back here we have our girl, Little Red Cowboy Hat. She's holding a basket. So I'm making kind of like a mitten shape there. And then through her hand, I'm going to put a handle. And then the basket. And in her basket, she's bringing, I think it's some jelly and maybe some bread. So I'll just put some food in there like that. And then for her hand in the front, that hand will be holding the reins. So again, I'm just going to kind of make like a mitten shape because she's going to be having a fist kind of. And then let's go and make our horse's bridle here. So we have the eye kind of in the middle here. And then we're going to create a strap here between the eye and the ear, and one here above the nose. And let's just put the nose there, little nostril for our horse, and then we have the side of our strap that's going to come under the eye, We're going to have it go up behind the ear. Every bridle is, there's different kinds, but we'll do one like this. And then we'll take from the mouth here, we're going to draw these reins coming up to her hand and then going back to the other side. So she's drawing, or she's holding the reins of the horse while she rides. Maybe here's the other side on the back. All right, and I'm drawing with pen, so I'm just going right over my lines. If you have a pencil with an eraser, you can erase that line inside. You can do the same thing for the legs here if you have a pencil with an eraser. Okay, so I have my Little Red Cowboy Hat on her horse. She's got her food, and she's taking it to see her grandma, and that's when she runs into the wolf. Now, we're going to have in the background, just because we've got a lot of space back here, you get to decide what the background will be. I'm going to do just some mountains. I'm going to kind of make mine a western scene with these mountains like this. Okay, so there she is. So you can see how this author who had this idea for this story took an idea that already existed and tweaked it and made it into their own idea. And it's kind of fun to think of what you could come up with your own idea for Little Red Riding Hood. So after you draw this picture, if you want to make up your own, that would be really fun. So I wrote my name on the bottom right corner, and then making a copy, I will be using watercolor today to paint. Now, if you want to use watercolor, that's great. You can go get your paints. I just have my little paint set here and a cup of water and a paint shirt that you can either wear or you can use it to wipe your brush off if you need to. And then if you don't have watercolors or you want to just use something else, that's totally fine. You can use any kind of coloring medium. Crayons, whatever you want. And even if you're just using pencil, that's great too. You can go back in and shade some different colors of gray and do some pattern or texture. That's really fun too. So because we know that this girl in this story has bright red hair, I'm going to put her skin as a lighter color to go with her red hair. And I'm really going to exaggerate and make it bright red in my painting. That's a big part of the story, is this girl in her red hair and her red hat. What I'm doing is I'm holding my paintbrush like a pencil. We've talked about that in our class before. So you want to hold it like that when you're doing really controlled brush strokes like I am. There are other times when we won't need to have so much control over our brush and we can hold it back a little farther up. But while we're doing these details here, and now I'm just getting a little water, some paint, and that way that also helps me be controlled. So while we're doing these little details, we need to keep control of our brush to try to stay in the lines. Now this is kind of fun. My watercolor blended into the water on her face on accident, but look, it kind of looks like her cheek right there. So that worked out great. Sometimes our mistakes are even better than what we did in the first place. All right, so then I get to choose. We don't know, you haven't maybe seen the book, so you can choose what kinds of colors she's wearing. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do a yellow vest. Let's see if you can see this. Okay. My yellow has a little green mixed in with it. I'm trying to get rid of that by putting more water in it. It looks like someone who used these did some double dipping, so that's why it's a little green, but it's okay. That will still work great. I'm having the same thing here at the bottom. See how my yellow paint is wet? And so my blue is starting to blend in with it. So that's okay with me. I can just have that be part of the pattern. But if you don't want that to happen, then you need to wait a little longer than I'm waiting to paint next to another shape. Wait till that water in that paint is dry on your paper and then go back and paint next to it. That way it won't blend into the other one. And remember, if you want a lighter color, you just add more water to it. Sometimes I add it on the tray if you have a tray. We got our. Okay, and then for her basket, do a brown basket. You can be thinking about what color you want your horse to be. She's got some bread in there. And jelly. Okay. Now for my horse. Okay, I think I'm gonna do brown for my horse. So I want to leave the saddle alone for a second while I paint my horse. So I'm just gonna go in all these other spaces. Whenever your brush dries up, just add more water. You want your paint to be flowing when you brush across the paper. So if no paint is coming out, then you need to get more water on your brush, and then that will let the paint flow better. Getting some different shades of brown here, and that works because that's how animals are. They have different shades of colors on them. Remember, if you'd like to turn on music, you can while you're painting or coloring. Usually I like to use just some soothing music, something that is quieter or not too distracting. Sometimes I like to not have music, so whatever works for you is great, especially while you're at home. So nice that you can choose that. I realized that I forgot an ear. I meant to draw the other ear on the other side. My horse needs 2 ears. Just put my other ear in the back there. Since I painted my horse brown, then I'm going to want to have a different color for my reins here and the bridle. So I could either do black or I could do just any other color. I think any color will work because I think people will still be able to tell what it is, even if I choose a different color. Get the legs here. Painting all the way to the edge of the paper. Okay. Here's my tail. And then, this is so funny, I forgot to draw in the mane for the horse, but I can go back and do that with my paint. Okay, you see that? All right. You can choose how long you want that to be. Okay, there's my horse. All right, and now for my saddle, or maybe it's a blanket she's sitting on. I'm gonna do a pattern on mine just for fun. Do some stripes and some zigzags. So when you're doing lines like this, it's really important that you just use the tip of your brush. So I've got some water, but not too much. I dip the tip in the paint, and then I can use it almost like a pencil to draw those lines. And then go back and get a different color for my zigzags. Looks like it's blending a little bit. Some of the wet red is getting in the wet green, so I have to be kind of careful. Going to blend in some light purple in the background of that rug or that blanket she's sitting on. You can make this as detailed or simple as you want. So I'm filling that in. I decided to do light purple, and since I have a tray here, which you can even use if you have these paints, there's already a tray, or if you have like the lid of a yogurt container, that could work great as a tray. But you can put a little bit down on your tray to put some water into your color if you want to make it lighter. Alright, so there's my little rug. I really noticed how this side is brighter than this side. So I'm going to go back. I want to even that out a little bit. So I'm going to put some brighter red over on the other end too. Maybe I'll do some brighter red in the middle too. Okay. Yeah, I'll just go over all my red again to make it stand out. Go over all the ones that kind of faded. It can be fun to have a detail like this in your painting that isn't really the main point of the picture, but it's just fun to decorate it anyway. Okay, and then for my reins. I'm being a little creative here with the color, so I'm going to do purple. Nice bright purple. It would be really fun if you know more about horses than I do in this picture, if you could use your knowledge to add to the drawing. If you know more about the bridle, the reins, and the saddle and things like that, that would be really fun to add those details. And I need a color for the horse's eye. I'll do dark brown. Okay. There she is, riding to her grandma's house, and it's really nice how this little piece blended in here on her face. So I don't know, sometimes I guess you gotta leave those mistakes alone and see what happens. It might turn into something cool sometimes. Okay, and then now for the background, I'm going to do a little more of, well, first of all, for these mountains back here, I'm going to get it wet first. So this is called a wash, when we get our paper wet first before we paint on it. And then we add the paint. So that should help it blend a little more easily. And my paper is just regular copy paper. And so it's not going to hold up as well as if I had real watercolor paper. This is going to get a little more wrinkly than that would, but it will still work. So if your paper starts getting wrinkly like mine when you get it wet, just know that's just because of the type of paper that you have, and it will still be fine as long as you keep pressing lightly and don't put too much water, because then the paper could rip. You could get a hole in your paper if you press too hard. But then again, even that, you know, you could tape it back together or just make it part of your drawing. So don't worry too much if that happens. This is a learning process, and it's okay to make mistakes. But if you try to not get too much water on there, then it shouldn't be a problem. Just enough water to help it blend. Not too much. I've got my brown mountains in the background, lots of dirt on these mountains. And then as I come down toward where the horse is and where the girl is, I'm going to add some green. And same thing, I'm just going to do a wash. First, I'm going to put water. And then I'll put green over the top. And I just want a light green. I don't want this to be, at least where it blends with the brown, I'll do a light green. And I might have it a little brighter towards the bottom, where it gets a little closer to us. So I'm using that principle of perspective, where when things are farther away, like mountains, they get a little more blurry and a little softer color, and maybe even a little bit cooler color, like bluish. So I'm gonna get my green watered down a little bit for this part that's farther away, because it's over by the mountains back there in the distance. And then as it gets closer up here by the horse, then I'll make it a little bit brighter. Okay, so now down here we'll do a little brighter. So here's some green grass that we can see better, and then it gets lighter as it goes back. She's riding through the grass on this part. I can't remember if that part's in the story, but I'm adding that part with mine. Feel free to add your own details if you think of your own details you want to add. light green in between. All right, so there she is on her horse riding through the mountains, through this field, I guess, and I need to do the sky. So you can choose the time of day. Again, it's a wash. So we take our brush, we throw some water on there, spread it around so that it's ready to receive the paint and just blur the paint. Okay. Like this. And also, I forgot to mention this again, but if you wanted to break this up into anytime you're doing these videos, if you want to break it up and do like the drawing first and the painting later, you can do that, or paint part of it and then come back. Sometimes these are a little bit longer of drawings and paintings, and so it's just there for you to use as it works for you. If you have time, you can split it up and do part of it now and part of it later. So for my sky, I'm just doing these spots of blue to show that there are some clouds in the sky. That's kind of fun. And to make it blend, I'm putting on some more water. Hopefully that will blend together so that when it dries, you'll see a nice blue sky with some clouds. Alright, so I'm going to tip this carefully since it's wet. Alright, so here's a picture of one version of that classic Little Red Riding Hood story. And again, if you want to go back and look at this, I can add the title and author in the description of this video, and then also if you want to make up your own version of this story, that would be really fun too. And you can compare and contrast them. So I hope you have a great day today, and we'll see you later. Bye.